This market has been brutal. Quarter one of 2025 has gone anything but smooth, and Bitcoin is at the center of it all. So, in this video, I'd like to take a look at Bitcoin in some different time frames, daily, weekly, 2 week, and so on, to get an idea of what we could expect from this asset going forward. Are we still in a bull market? Are we still going to see positive gains for Bitcoin? That's what we're going to discuss tonight. This is Crypto Simulation Theory. I am the Gaussian Snake. Please be sure to subscribe to my channel if you like content like this and want to see more. So let's go ahead and get started with the daily time frame for Bitcoin. And so if we look on the daily time frame, you can see that the Gaussian channel has inflected. It was kind of wiggling around here for a little while. Although Bitcoin did hold the Gaussian channel on its first attempt down, it failed to achieve a significantly higher high, put in a double top. And so bearish chart formation, it has been heading down. And now the Gaussian channel has actually turned red as of yesterday. So that's not a great sign for the immediate future. Failing to capture the 1.272 fib. This chart structure looks a bit heavy. And I think that red zone we talked about between 84.5 and 88.5K could definitely get tested here. If things were to get really bad, we could certainly come down to the breakout highs around $72,000. I'm not sure how likely that is to happen, but the red zone is certainly in play. Let's take a look at some of the indicators and get an idea of what they're saying. So I've got three of them up at once to try not to spend too much time on any one of them. But the ADX and DI showing a clear bear trend, kind of accelerating. You've got the trend strength at 38.55. The red DI is diverging away from the green DI. That's bearish. The average sentiment oscillator is making another bearish divergence as well. And the wave trend, I guess this is maybe the only shining light in the dark, is getting pretty close to the oversold region. It's not there yet. So I think more downside price action in the next few days is likely, but we saw what happened last time. This actually hasn't been hit since June of 2024. And then about a month later, in July, it was like, well, I wouldn't say a month later, but like maybe almost 2 weeks later, we hit and got a really sustained bullish divergence that led us gradually into the next bull trend. So we'd like to see some green dots down here forming. That would be a positive sign. You can also see the Trix bubble is in a clear downtrend as well beneath the zero line, indicating short-term weakness for Bitcoin. So that's what's going on in the short term. I think going under 90K is all but a given at this point. And having some, down days for sure in our near future for Bitcoin. Let's take a look at the weekly next and see what's going on there. Now on the weekly, we have gotten beneath the median line of the Bollinger Band. Notice that the Bollinger Bands are in a compression right now, indicating that a big move is likely coming. The question is, will that move be down or up? The Gaussian channel is wide and green and concave up at the moment, which is a good thing, although it could very easily go concave down with a couple weeks of negative price action. Key level on the Bollinger Band right now is around 82.7K. I mean, that, will that get hit? I don't know if it will or it won't. I do want to pull up some moving averages and probably remove the fib levels in a minute. You guys are familiar with the fib levels. We've got the 1.272 at 103.6K. The one fib, of course, previous all-time high. It's around, we'll say 69K, although that is a little bit underestimate. I think it's like 69 point something, like 69.5, or I forget the exact amount, but close enough, right? So let's take a look at some moving averages and see what's going on there. Remember I said that I thought Bitcoin would hold its 100-week whole moving average? I don't think that's going to happen. Now, we definitely want to stay above the 200-week whole moving average. Not staying above that could be very dangerous. Currently, the 200-week whole moving average is at 78.3K. So got a long ways to go before we have to worry about anything. I mean, the last time we tested the 200-week was in September of 2024. Maybe we need to test it again. There's incoming death crosses, right? So we have a death cross of the 20 and the 50 week, which has already occurred. The 50 week is turning around. I imagine a death cross with the 100 is probably likely in the coming weeks. Hopefully we see some strength at the 200 week. That's crucial for that to hold, to maintain a bull market structure. we can put on the Gunnar EMA band to see kind of where our bull market support band is in terms of the Gunnar EMA. We are dangerously close to triggering a bearish cross. That would happen at around 89K. If we spend some time underneath there, we will trigger a bearish cross. It's not really that big of a deal if we do for a little while. It's just, again, the concern is really the 200-week HMA. We want to make sure we can preserve that. If I throw that back up here, you can see that that moving average has been respected ever since coming out of the bear market of 2022. So even if we do get beneath the Gunnar EMA bull market support band, our hope is that we can sometime maybe in March or April, we can't really tell exactly how long this is going to take, that we can actually like tap that moving average and head back up. So that would be ideal. The ADX and DI is concerning. We hit a trend strength of 52.76 in February 10th, and that looks like a pretty certain top for the ADX. And the green DI just keeps converging towards the red DI. This is not really what you want to see. Like last time we saw that, we had quite a bit of a lull in the market. So that looks like it's probably going to happen again. I mean, these moving averages are the green DI and the red DI are getting really close to each other. So we may see the bears take charge again soon. The bull bear power trend on the weekly is also showing that the bulls, while still technically in charge, are losing influence by the week. We have not had a period where the bears are in charge since 2022, but this is not looking too great at the moment. Maybe we just get a more neutral period in here. That's kind of what I would hope for. Weekly average sentiment oscillator, we can see the bull bubble is closing in, and we're probably going to get a bear bubble. We had a bear bubble from June of 2024 until October of 2024 last time. Hard to say how long this bear bubble would last. It could be a few months, could be a few weeks. It's really hard to say. You don't know till it happens, but this is a pretty sharp drawdown, even sharper in some ways, or just as sharp as what happened in April of 2024. Snabble RSI on the weekly looks ugly. Probably going to fall more. Now, we have bounced each time we've hit the green line. Last time was the first time since exiting our bear market was in September of 2023. Then we came down about 9 months later in July of 2024. And so it looks like we're probably going to hit this again in March of 2025. We'll probably hit this again. Now, we hope that holds. That 20 level for the Snabble RSI is a very common area for bounces. So if you're looking for a turnaround in the market, maybe you eye March to April is kind of an ideal time for that to materialize with the price turning back around. But this is a very ugly trend at the moment and likely to continue down. Well, on the 2-week, Bitcoin actually looks pretty good. We're still on the upper boundary of the Gunnar EMA band, slicing into the green moving average, and probably going to slice through the red zone and maybe even test this red one down here around, I hate to say it, but around 80K, 78K. The Gaussian channel for our bull run for the 2-week looks beautiful, and it looks like it's just getting started. So if you watch my last video on the extended bull cycle, this just kind of fits in line with just a very choppy version of like 2017. If we go back to 2017, it was just straight up, right? But price action now is a lot less volatile. And so I think these chop periods could be more common. I'm not going to predict that Bitcoin's going to just chop, go up, like in such a like linear fashion. But this Gaussian channel looks very healthy at the moment for the bull market. And if we throw on a weighted logarithmic Bollinger Band into this too, take off the Gunnar EMA to reduce the noise, we can see that price action still looks very healthy. I mean, the median line of the Bollinger Band is at 84.3K. Even if we were to come down to the base of the Bollinger Bands as these are starting to close in again, which, looking like an uptrend Bollinger Band, just finding its way in, we could find price action maybe at the top of this channel in the high 70s in the worst case scenario. I don't know if this is going to be like a slow bleed down, but as I showed you in the weekly, it looks like a bounce is coming probably within a month or so. Like within a month to a month and a half at most, I would expect to bounce out of Bitcoin based on what I saw with the wave trend and other indicators getting relatively exhausted. What do the indicators look like on the 2-week? So on the ADX and DI, I actually like what I see on the 2-week, which I see an acceleration of trend strength, even though things are starting to get a little bit bearish. This happened in 2017 as well, where you would have the trend strength kind of gradually increasing. We haven't really seen trend strength at what it typically gets at near a blow off top, or a significant top, right? April of 2021, we saw a 2-week trend strength around 76. Here in 2017, it was at like 80. We've always hit these upper levels and we haven't hit that yet. It looks like that's where we're heading. That's where we're kind of starting to work our way up towards. It might be kind of choppy along the way, but this could happen this year, or it could happen in 2026 that we hit that upper level, or could even take longer, right? But it looks like that's the direction we're heading in, as far as trend strength goes. Unless this cycle is different and we don't hit those levels, which is always a possibility, but certainly not my base case. It looks like we are trending in the right direction, at least with the ADX. The DI, we would like to see the green overtake the red. Right now, the green is heading towards the red, which we don't like to see. So the average sentiment oscillator, bull and bear bubbles from the past, you can see from past bull markets, kind of what they look like. There's a very long one from 2016 to 2017. 2021 was a pretty short series of bubbles. We've actually been dealing with bull bubbles on the 2-week for quite some time. This almost looks like a head and shoulders arrangement. So it's hard to say exactly what's going to happen here. I mean, this could come down and then come back up again. Like I said, the Gaussian channel is really strong. That could change though. If price action comes down, it could inflect the Gaussian channel. But I like how tight and compact this is. This tells me bullishness is much more likely than bearishness on a larger time frame. So we do have a bull bubble still intact on the 2-week. Could come down a little bit and it wouldn't invalidate the bull bubble. I don't know how much longer this bull bubble will go for. We haven't had a bear bubble since 2022. So it's been a while, right? Since we've had one. But, right now the bear trend is picking up a little bit of. The MVRVZ score on the 2-week has been very disappointing compared to past cycles. I mean, if this were the cycle top, that would be horribly disappointing and nowhere near levels we've had in past cycles, right? Usually you see a very strong divergence from the market value and realized value during a bull market cycle top. It looks like we're barely even getting started here. Like we're maybe halfway. We're not even at the levels achieved in 2021. So this looks like, looking at the MVRVZ score, that there's still more work to do. Williams alligator indicator is still very much intact and saying we're in a bull market. You've got the mouth above the lips above the jaw. So this is a very bullish formation. Even if this were to come down a little bit and price action were to dip to the red moving average or even the blue moving average, we could bounce anywhere in that region. I think we would more likely bounce at the red than the blue, but you could bounce anywhere in this region and still end up with a macro bull market. And we haven't seen the kind of movements we've typically seen in past bull markets, right? That like straight up movement. It just hasn't been like that. And I think, again, a lot of that has to do with diminished volatility. But I think we will see, we may not see that actually. We may not see anything quite this straight up, but we may see a longer bull run, right? With, less volatility. Nothing here looks like it's in danger of breaking to me at the moment. So it just looks like maybe we're, entering a cool off period. February closes in a few days. The monthly Heikin Ashi candle doesn't look great, but it also doesn't look like anything that concerning yet. We did have 3 red Heikin Ashi candles in Q3 of 2024, and it didn't mean a thing. We had 2 red Heikin Ashi candles for the monthly in August and September as well. So you can see, this is the Williams alligator. Bull market's still very much intact. We're nowhere near the green moving average, but if we did want to kind of go towards it, we'd be heading towards around 79, 80K. That could happen. Again, I mean, I'm not saying that it will happen, I'm just saying it could happen. So we are at risk of printing an indecisive Heikin Ashi candle. If we switch this over to regular candles, we can see that we've kind of alternated, right? November was a green month, December was a red month, January was a green month, February looks pretty much like it's going to be a red month. So will March end up being a red month as well, or will it flip green? March is typically not a good month for crypto. So, I am expecting some kind of bounce to occur in March based on what I'm seeing with the weekly wave trend again. And even the Snabble RSI looks like it could head down all the way through March and maybe even into beginning of April, but I expect a bounce by April at the latest. Now, will that bounce take us to a new all-time high for Bitcoin? That I don't know. I really don't. But I can at least say that I don't think this bleeding is going to go, like, for instance, down to the 65K or anything like that. I don't think it's going to happen. Worst case, I think, is we get near the green moving average and maybe wick down there or test that. And that right now is around 80K. So I don't really see anything too much worse than that happening. Bull market structure still looks very much intact. If we throw a Gaussian channel on the monthly, we're way above it. So no danger there. If we look at some Bollinger Bands, we're in the upper quadrant. The median line of the Bollinger Band seems to intersect the green moving average at the, depending on where this would hit and when this would hit, somewhere around 77, 80K. So that is a possibility that we could head that low and still keep this bull market perfectly intact. It would not be a fun experience, especially for altcoins, but the bull market itself would still look very good. There's your 20-month moving average. We have gone below it before, went below it in 2024. It looks like we may go below it again. Our 50-month moving average, very much intact. This is where we bounced. Currently, the 50-month is around 72K and trending up. 100-month moving average did have a golden cross, right? So we had a golden cross with 50 and 100. 100-month moving average is around 56K, and the 200-month moving average does not yet exist. So, yeah, that all looks good, right? It all looks good. You don't want Bitcoin beneath its 100-month moving average. That happened in the middle of a bear market last time. It's okay if we flirt around with the 20 and, but we haven't really seen a clean stacking of the 20, 50, and 100. In fact, that's just starting to happen right now. That tells me the most exciting times of this bull market are likely ahead of us, right? If you look at past times, here's your stacking of 20, 50, 100, 20, 50. I mean, obviously don't have a 100-week moving average going back that far, but you would expect to have some really nice stacking. Hasn't happened yet. One more thing I want to look at is the Pi cycle top indicator. The Pi cycle top indicator hasn't triggered yet. You can see down here the 111-day simple moving average is pretty close to 365 by 2, closer than it's been in a really long time. But there's still some ground to make up. Like right now, the 111-day moving average is at 53K. The 365 times 2 is at 62K. There's still some work that needs to be done to get this back up over here. That could happen this year, that we could get that cross. As for Pi cycle tops, we haven't had one yet this cycle. Hasn't been triggered yet. So that's another sort of anomaly, right? Like we would anticipate that the Pi cycle top would trigger. Let me be very clear with you. I do not feel like this is the end of the bull cycle. I think we may be in for a few weeks of ugly price action from Bitcoin. We know March is traditionally not a great month, but that doesn't mean that the end of March couldn't turn good or the middle of March or something like that. So I just think we need to be patient as the market kind of resets itself and look towards the future, right? I think Q2 should be good for crypto. I was admittedly a little bit jumping the gun a little bit by thinking Q1 would be good. It clearly has not. So I was wrong about that. But, I've already told you guys I'm not going to be right about everything. The goal here isn't to make like accurate predictions. It's just to pretty much interpret the data as accurately as possible and deliver it to you with my best interpretation that I can give you and let you decide what to do with it. Nothing in this video is financial advice. So I hope you enjoyed this overview of Bitcoin on different time frames. Understand that I am short-term bearish, medium to long-term bullish with Bitcoin. I don't think February is going to be a green month. I think it will be a red month. I think March may start off red as well. I'm not convinced that March ends up being a red month. I'm kind of like ambivalent, and I say ambivalent, I'm kind of undecided about it at the moment. But I think that by the time we get to April, things will be good again if they're not already in March. Could see Bitcoin price drop as low as the high 70,000s and still be okay. I think the 80s is probably a probable target. I think we will definitely slice through my red zone. That red zone of mine between 84.5 and 88.5K probably will not hold, if I had to guess. I mean, there's a possibility it does. I think at the very least we should find some support there temporarily, but I don't think it's going to hold. I think we will go lower. And then once we do get that probable bounce, I don't know if we'll put in a higher high right away. Not exactly sure what's going to happen at that point. I think I'll just wait and, sorry about that, take things as they come from there. So thank you for joining me for Crypto Simulation Theory. Please be sure to like this video, comment your thoughts below on what you think about Bitcoin right now. Do you think we're still in the bull market, or are you starting to get like really bearish? And be sure to also join my Telegram channel if you haven't already. Sign up for my Twitter. I have Twitter links. All links are in the video description. Would love to have you there. Again, none of this is financial advice. I will see you again next time. Bye.